The massive screens inside Earth Defense Command lit up with countless red dots. Admiral Robert Wilson stared at the display, his coffee mug frozen halfway to his lips. In his 30 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. "Sir, we're detecting over 300 objects entering the solar system," reported Lieutenant Mark Davis, his fingers flying over the control panel. "They're moving at speeds we've never recorded before." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. After decades of searching the stars and wondering if humanity was alone, they finally had their answer. But this wasn't the kind of first contact anyone had hoped for. Admiral Wilson placed his mug down carefully. "Get me the UN Security Council. Now." Within hours, military bases worldwide went on high alert. Fighter jets took to the skies, missile defense systems activated, and submarines emerged from their deep-sea hiding spots. Captain James Miller watched from the command center as his crew prepared for what might be humanity's greatest challenge. The alien fleet slowed as it passed Jupiter, its massive ships dwarfing everything humanity had ever built. Their designs were elegant yet intimidating. Smooth, dark surfaces that seemed to absorb light itself. As the world's leaders gathered in an emergency session, the first transmission arrived. "People of Earth," the message began, playing on every screen and device across the planet. "We are the Galactic Empire, rulers of 10,000 worlds. Your primitive civilization has been monitored for the past century. The time has come for your integration into our empire. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Submit, and you will serve." The alien ambassador appeared on screen. A tall, humanoid figure with metallic skin and glowing eyes. "You have 48 hours to surrender your weapons and accept our authority. This is not a negotiation." In the UN Security Council chamber, representatives from every nation argued about their next move. Some wanted immediate surrender, believing resistance was pointless. Others called for an all-out attack. Captain Miller stood at attention as Admiral Wilson addressed the emergency meeting. "Ladies and gentlemen, preliminary analysis shows their technology is at least 3 centuries ahead of ours. But we've noticed something strange about their communications." He nodded to Dr. Anna Thompson, Earth's leading quantum physicist. She stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement despite the grave situation. "Their technology, while advanced, follows strict patterns," she explained. "It's like they've evolved along a single technological path, becoming more and more specialized. But they've completely ignored quantum mechanics, the very field where humanity has made its greatest recent breakthroughs." Miller listened intently. He had worked with Dr. Thompson before, testing new quantum shields for Earth's defense satellites. Those same shields were now humanity's only hope against the Empire's weapons. The next few hours were a blur of activity. While the world's governments pretended to discuss surrender terms, military forces moved into position. Underground bunkers filled with civilians. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing every bit of data they could gather about the alien fleet. Captain Miller received his orders that evening. He would lead a special team to test Dr. Thompson's theory. If she was right, humanity might have a fighting chance. If she was wrong, they would all be dead within days. As he prepared his crew, Miller looked out the window at the night sky. The alien ships were visible now, dark shapes blocking out the stars. In all his years of military service, he had trained for every possible scenario, but nothing had prepared him for this. "Captain," his radio crackled. "The first Empire scouts have entered Earth's atmosphere. They're heading toward the Pacific Fleet." Miller took a deep breath. This was it. The moment humanity had to prove itself. "All teams to battle stations," he ordered. "Let's show these aliens they picked the wrong planet to invade." As klaxons blared and soldiers rushed to their positions, Miller couldn't help but smile. The Empire thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would roll over and surrender. They were about to learn that humans had a long history of beating impossible odds. The first shots of an interstellar war were about to be fired, and Earth's fate hung in the balance. But as Captain Miller looked at the determined faces around him, he knew one thing for certain. Humanity would not go down without a fight. The Empire's massive ships hung in the sky like storm clouds, casting long shadows over Earth's cities. As the 48-hour deadline approached, Captain Miller and Dr. Thompson worked frantically in the underground quantum research facility. "Look at this," Dr. Thompson said, pointing to her screen. Their ship's energy signatures follow the same pattern over and over. It's like they've never considered that someone might exploit this predictability. Miller studied the data streams. Years of military training told him there was something wrong with the Empire's approach. They were too confident, too set in their ways. That was always dangerous in warfare. "Can we use this against them?" he asked. Dr. Thompson smiled. "We already are. Every scan they make of Earth passes through our quantum shields. But instead of seeing our real military strength, they're getting false readings. They think we're practically defenseless." Above ground, the Empire was growing impatient. Their ambassador's face appeared on global broadcasts again, his metallic features twisted in a sneer. "Your time grows short, primitives. We detect no significant military capabilities. Surrender now, and we may show mercy." In response, Earth's leaders requested more time, playing the role of frightened primitives perfectly. Meanwhile, in secret bases around the world, humanity's real preparations continued. Admiral Wilson coordinated the global defense from his underground command center. "The Empire's ships are spreading out," he reported. "They're positioning themselves over major cities. Classic intimidation tactic." Miller's team had discovered something even more interesting: the Empire's neural networks, the computer systems that controlled their ships, were vulnerable to quantum interference. Dr. Thompson's virus would exploit this weakness, turning their own technology against them. "It's ready," she announced, holding up a small quantum drive. "Once this activates, their systems won't know what hit them." But they needed to get it into the Empire's network first. That's where Miller's next mission came in. "You want me to what?" asked Lieutenant Davis, staring at Miller in disbelief. "We're going to let them capture us," Miller explained. "They'll bring us right into their ship, probably to interrogate us. That's when we'll plug in Dr. Thompson's surprise." The plan was risky, but they were running out of time. The Empire's deadline would expire in 6 hours. As Miller's team prepared for their mission, the first signs of the Empire's true nature emerged. A small fishing village in the Pacific disappeared completely, vaporized as a warning to Earth. The Empire expected this display of power to break humanity's spirit. They were wrong. Instead of causing panic, the attack united humanity like never before. Old enemies shared military resources. Political rivals worked together. The entire planet held its breath, waiting for the signal to fight back. Miller and his team boarded their outdated-looking patrol boat. Everything about it was designed to appear primitive and harmless. The quantum shield generators were hidden. The advanced weapons were concealed. To the Empire's scans, it would look like a simple metal boat with basic electronics. "Remember," Miller told his crew, "act scared when they capture us. Make them think we've never seen anything like their technology." They headed out into the Pacific, right where the Empire's ships were patrolling. It didn't take long for them to be noticed. A bright light surrounded their boat. Miller felt the familiar tingle of a transport beam, something Earth had developed years ago, but kept secret. His team put on their best expressions of terror as they materialized inside the Empire's ship. Armed guards surrounded them. Tall, mechanized soldiers with glowing weapons. Their leader stepped forward, his metallic face emotionless. "Primitive humans," he said, "you will be interrogated. Then you will watch as your world submits to the Empire." Miller allowed himself to be led away, fighting to hide his smile. In his pocket, Dr. Thompson's quantum drive hummed softly, ready to unleash chaos in the Empire's perfect systems. The Empire thought they were dealing with simple, primitive humans. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. As Miller was marched toward the interrogation chamber, he thought about Earth's history. how humanity had always fought back against tyrants and empires. Now they would do it again, but on a galactic scale. Inside the Empire's ship, Miller and his team sat in their cell, waiting. The quantum drive in his hidden pocket felt warm. It was already mapping the Empire's neural network, preparing for its attack. The interrogation room was exactly what they had expected: clean, metallic, and filled with advanced scanning equipment. The Empire officer stood tall, his chrome-like skin reflecting the harsh lights. "Your species is primitive," the officer said, activating a holographic display. "You still use combustion engines. Your weapons are basic. Your computers are laughable." Miller played his part perfectly, staring at the hologram in fake wonder. "How do you do that?" "It's like magic." The officer's metallic lips curved into a smile. "This is why you must submit. You are children playing with sticks. We will guide you to true advancement." While the officer bragged about Empire technology, Dr. Thompson's virus was spreading through their systems. The Empire had never considered protecting against quantum intrusion. It was too primitive for them to worry about. Back on Earth, Dr. Thompson watched the virus progress on her screens. "It's working," she radioed to Admiral Wilson. "Their entire network is being mapped. They don't even notice." The Empire's arrogance had led to their biggest mistake. They had built their technology in straight lines, always moving forward, never looking back. But humans had explored every possible path, including ones the Empire thought worthless. Underground resistance networks sprang into action worldwide. Millions of people moved into position, ready for the signal. The Empire's ships still hovered overhead, their crews completely unaware of what was coming. In the interrogation room, the Empire officer grew frustrated with Miller's apparent stupidity. "How can you be so blind? Look at our achievements." Miller kept playing dumb. "But how do your ships fly? Where are the engines?" "Enough." The officer slammed his metal hand on the table. "You will tell us about Earth's defenses." "What defenses?" Miller asked innocently. "We just have some boats and planes." The quantum drive buzzed in his pocket. The virus was fully uploaded. Phase 1 was complete. Dr. Thompson's voice came through his hidden earpiece. "All set, Captain. Ready when you are." Miller looked at the Empire officer and dropped his act. His voice became cold and clear. "You know what your biggest mistake was." The officer stepped back, surprised by the sudden change. "You thought being newer meant being better," Miller continued. "You forgot that sometimes the old ways, the forgotten paths, have power too." He pressed the activation signal. Throughout the ship, systems began to fail. Lights flickered. Doors slammed shut. The Empire's neural network turned against itself. The officer reached for his weapon, but it wouldn't respond. None of their technology would. The Empire had built everything on the same network, never expecting it could be turned against them. Miller and his team quickly overpowered the confused guards. All across the massive ship, Empire crews found themselves helpless as their advanced technology refused to work. "This is impossible," the officer shouted. "You are primitives." "No," Miller said, securing the bridge. "We're humans, and we've learned that every path is worth exploring." From Earth, Admiral Wilson gave the signal. Quantum shields dropped, revealing Earth's true defenses. Hidden bases opened. Advanced weapons powered up. The Empire's scans had been fooled all along, seeing only what humans wanted them to see. The Empire fleet commanders watched in shock as their readings suddenly changed. The primitive planet below was now bristling with weapons they couldn't understand. Their neural networks were compromised. Their perfect technology was failing, and they had just discovered their greatest nightmare, a species that had developed along paths they had never imagined possible. Dr. Thompson's voice echoed through all Empire communications. "Attention Empire forces. Your neural networks are now under Earth's control. Your choice is simple: retreat or be destroyed." The Empire had expected to find simple primitives. Instead, they had found humanity, A species that had mastered quantum mechanics while the Empire wasn't looking. A species that had learned to combine old and new, to explore every possibility, to never assume that newer always meant better. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The Empire's response was swift and brutal. Unable to accept their vulnerable position, they launched an attack on a military base in the Pacific, the same region where they had destroyed the fishing village. "They're trying to prove they're still in control," Admiral Wilson said, watching the massive energy beam descend from the Empire's flagship. But this time, Earth was ready. The beam struck Earth's quantum shield and scattered into harmless light. On the Empire's bridge, commanders stared in disbelief. Their most powerful weapon had just been deflected by the primitives they had dismissed. Captain Miller, still aboard the captured Empire ship, accessed their command channels through the compromised neural network. The Empire's communications were filled with confusion and anger. "Impossible," one commander shouted. "Their technology can't be this advanced. Our scans showed nothing like this." Miller sent a message to Dr. Thompson. "They still don't understand what happened. Should we show them more?" Down in her lab, Dr. Thompson grinned. "Let's give them a demonstration they won't forget." Earth's defense satellites, hidden until now by quantum cloaking, suddenly appeared around the Empire fleet. These weren't the primitive weapons the Empire had detected earlier. These were the products of humanity's unique technological path. The satellites fired, their quantum-enhanced beams slicing through Empire shields like they weren't there. 3 Empire ships fell in the first volley, their crews evacuating in panic. "How?" the Empire Admiral demanded over the command channel. "How are they doing this?" Miller decided to answer him directly. "You followed one path to the stars," he said, broadcasting to the entire fleet. "We followed all of them. While you were perfecting your neural networks, we were exploring quantum mechanics. While you were building bigger ships, we were developing better shields." The Empire launched fighters in response, sleek, advanced craft that could outmaneuver anything they thought Earth possessed. But again, they were wrong. Earth's fighters rose to meet them. These weren't the primitive jets the Empire had detected. These were quantum-drive hybrid craft, combining old and new technology in ways the Empire had never considered. The battle that followed was brief but intense. Empire fighters, despite their advanced technology, couldn't cope with Earth's quantum-shifted vessels that seemed to be in multiple places at once. "Sir," Lieutenant Davis reported to Miller, "Earth forces are reporting minimum casualties. Empire fighters are retreating." The Empire Admiral's voice came over the command channel again, but this time it held a note of fear. "What are you?" "We're human," Miller replied. "We're what happens when a species never stops asking questions, never assumes there's only one way forward. We're what happens when you combine the old with the new, the simple with the advanced." Another Empire ship fell to Earth's defenses. The mighty fleet that had arrived to conquer a primitive world was now in chaos. Their neural networks, the foundation of their technology, were compromised. Their shields couldn't stop Earth's quantum weapons. Their sensors couldn't track Earth's ships. "They're pulling back," Admiral Wilson announced. "The fleet is retreating to a defensive position beyond the moon." But Miller knew this wasn't over. The Empire had never faced defeat before. They would be back, and next time they would be desperate. Desperate enemies were always the most dangerous. "Dr. Thompson," he called over the secure channel, "how long until they find a way around our quantum virus?" "They can't," she replied confidently. "They would need to completely rebuild their neural networks from scratch. They're too dependent on their existing technology." Miller watched through the captured ship's viewport as the Empire fleet withdrew. They had won the first real battle, but the war was just beginning. The Empire wouldn't accept defeat easily. They would return with everything they had. But now, they knew what they were facing. Earth wasn't just another primitive world to be conquered. It was something the Empire had never encountered before, a civilization that had found its own path to the stars. As the Empire ships disappeared into the darkness of space, Miller sent one final message. Remember this day. Remember what happened when you underestimated Earth. We'll be waiting for your return. 3 days after the first battle, Earth launched Operation Thunderbolt. Admiral Wilson watched from the command center as thousands of ships emerged from hidden bases around the planet. The time for playing weak was over. All units, commence attack, he ordered. Show them what humanity can really do. Captain Miller led the assault from his captured Empire vessel, now modified with Earth's quantum technology. The Empire fleet, still regrouping beyond the moon, never saw them coming. Multiple quantum jumps detected. Lieutenant Davis reported. Earth's fleet is surrounding the Empire forces on all sides. The Empire commanders panicked as Earth ships seemed to appear from nowhere. Dr. Thompson's virus had spread through their entire network, turning their own defense systems against them. Empire ships fired at phantom targets, while Earth's forces struck from unexpected angles. Their formation is breaking, Miller reported to Admiral Wilson. They've lost coordination between their ships. The Empire Admiral's desperate voice filled the command channel. This is impossible. You were nothing. You had nothing. That's where you were wrong, Miller replied calmly. We had everything you ignored. Every piece of technology you thought was beneath you, we perfected. Every path you abandoned, we explored. Earth's quantum fighters moved like ghosts through the Empire's defenses. Their weapons, combining traditional explosives with quantum-phase technology, bypassed the Empire's strongest shields. Dr. Thompson coordinated the attack from her lab, using the virus to disrupt Empire communications. Their neural network is completely compromised, she reported. They're fighting blind. The Empire's mighty fleet, which had conquered thousands of worlds, was being torn apart by the very civilization they had dismissed as primitive. Ship after ship fell to Earth's attacks. They're launching their ground forces, someone shouted. Thousands of Empire dropships descended toward Earth, hoping to overwhelm humanity with sheer numbers. But Earth had prepared for this too. As the dropships entered the atmosphere, they faced a network of quantum-enhanced defense systems. Local resistance forces, armed with weapons that combined simple projectiles with quantum technology, engaged the Empire troops as they landed. The Empire soldiers, used to fighting against primitive weapons, found themselves facing an enemy that could hit them from any angle, at any time. Their advanced armor offered no protection against quantum-phased bullets. Ground forces report success, Admiral Wilson announced. Empire troops are retreating worldwide. Miller watched from his command chair as another Empire capital ship exploded. The mighty conquerors who had arrived so confidently were now running for their lives. The Empire Admiral made one last transmission. What kind of demons are you? What dark powers have you discovered? Not demons, Miller replied. Not dark powers, just humans who never stopped learning, never stopped questioning, never accepted that there was only one way forward. The remaining Empire ships began jumping away, fleeing the solar system. The ones with damaged engines were captured by Earth forces. The mighty invasion fleet had been reduced to scattered survivors in less than a day. But amid the celebration, Miller noticed something concerning. The Empire's flagship, their largest and most powerful vessel, was charging its main weapon. They're going to try something desperate, he warned. Dr. Thompson's voice came over the command channel. Captain, their flagship is diverting all power to their planet killer weapon. They're going to try to destroy Earth rather than admit defeat. Miller ordered all ships to focus on the flagship, but he knew they might not be fast enough. The Empire's weapon was already glowing with deadly energy. This is the Empire's final warning. The Admiral's voice boomed. Submit or be destroyed. We will not be humiliated by primitives. The flagship's weapon fired, releasing enough energy to crack a planet. But Earth had one final surprise waiting. The quantum shields that had protected them so far were just the beginning. As the deadly beam approached Earth, humanity revealed its greatest achievement, something the Empire had never dreamed possible. But that would be the beginning of the next chapter in this war. The Empire's planet-killer beam struck Earth's atmosphere, but instead of destroying the planet, something extraordinary happened. Earth's quantum shield network didn't just block the beam, it absorbed it completely. Dr. Thompson's voice filled all channels. Energy absorption successful. Redirecting power now. The Empire Admiral watched in horror as Earth's defense network began to glow with his own weapon's energy. His ultimate weapon, capable of destroying worlds, had just made Earth stronger. Impossible, he screamed over the command channel. This defies all known physics. Miller replied from his command ship, "No, it just defies everything you thought you knew. While you were building bigger weapons, we were learning to turn energy against itself." Earth's defense network released the absorbed energy in a massive counterattack. The quantum-enhanced blast struck the Empire flagship, tearing through its shields like paper. The massive ship, pride of the Empire fleet, began breaking apart. All Empire forces, the Admiral broadcast desperately. Full attack. Destroy these demons at any cost. But his remaining ships were already in chaos. Dr. Thompson's virus had complete control of their systems. Some ships fired on their own allies. Others found their engines shutting down. The mighty Empire fleet was tearing itself apart. Admiral Wilson directed Earth's forces with calm precision. All units, execute final phase. Show them what happens when you threaten our world. Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Empire gunners fired at targets that vanished before their shots landed, while Earth's weapons struck from impossible angles. From his captured ship, Miller watched the Empire Admiral's flagship breaking up. "Their command structure is gone," he reported. "The fleet is losing all coordination." Then something unexpected happened. On hundreds of Empire ships, crew members began surrendering. They had seen their best weapons fail, their strongest shields pierced, and their proudest ships destroyed. Their unshakable belief in Empire superiority had been shattered. "Captain," Lieutenant Davis called out, "we're receiving surrender signals from 30% of remaining Empire vessels. They're requesting asylum." Miller wasn't surprised. The Empire had ruled through fear and presumed superiority. Once that was broken, their hold over their own people crumbled. Dr. Thompson's voice came through. "Captain, we're picking up quantum communications from across the galaxy. Other conquered worlds have seen what happened here. They're rising up against the Empire." The news swept through Earth's forces like wildfire. Their victory wasn't just saving Earth, it was liberating the galaxy. The Empire Admiral made one final transmission before his flagship broke apart. "You don't understand what you've done. The Empire brought order to the galaxy. Without us, there will be chaos." "No," Miller replied. "Without you, there will be freedom. Every world will find its own path, just like we did. That's not chaos. That's evolution." The remaining loyal Empire ships began retreating in disorder. Some tried to make final suicide runs at Earth, but the quantum shields absorbed every attack, growing stronger each time. Admiral Wilson's voice filled the command channel. "All Earth forces, hold position. Let them run. Let them tell the galaxy what happened when they tried to conquer Earth." The battle was ending, but Miller knew this was just the beginning. Earth's quantum technology had proven superior to the Empire's brute force approach. Humanity had shown the galaxy a new way forward, one that embraced all paths of progress, not just the obvious ones. As the last Empire ships flooded into deep space, Dr. Thompson reported something incredible. The quantum virus. It's spreading through the Empire's entire network. Every world they conquered is breaking free. The Empire is collapsing. Miller looked at Earth through his viewport, still beautiful and unharmed despite the Empire's best efforts to destroy it. Humanity hadn't just defended itself, it had changed the galaxy forever. But there would be one more chapter in this story. The Empire was wounded but not destroyed. And wounded empires were the most dangerous of all. 1 month after the Great Battle, Earth had changed forever. Ships from dozens of formerly enslaved worlds arrived in the solar system, not to conquer, but to learn. Captain Miller, now Admiral Miller, stood in the United Nations chamber, addressing representatives from across the galaxy. Earth welcomes all who come in peace, he declared. We offer our knowledge freely to those who would use it wisely. Dr. Thompson had become Earth's most sought-after teacher. In her new Quantum Technology Institute, scientists from hundreds of worlds learned how humanity had discovered paths the Empire had ignored. The Empire's mistake, she explained to her first class of alien students, was thinking there was only one way forward. They built their entire civilization on that mistake. Admiral Wilson coordinated Earth's new defense network, which now extended throughout the solar system. The quantum shields that had saved Earth were being shared with other worlds, helping them protect themselves from any future Empire attacks. The Empire itself had retreated to its core worlds, its grand fleet reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Reports came in daily of more worlds declaring independence, using Earth's quantum virus to break free from Empire control. Their entire system is collapsing, Lieutenant Davis reported during a morning briefing. The Empire controlled everything through their neural network. Now that network belongs to the people they oppressed. Miller stood on the observation deck of Earth's first diplomatic starship, watching as representatives from former Empire worlds arrived for the signing of the Galactic Freedom Accord. Each ship was different, representing the unique path each civilization had chosen for itself. They're calling Earth the Liberator, Dr. Thompson said, joining him at the window. Though personally, I prefer to think of us as the teachers. The Empire had made one final attempt to maintain control, threatening to destroy their own colonies if Earth didn't surrender its quantum technology. Their threat had backfired spectacularly. Even their most loyal worlds abandoned them after that. How many worlds have adopted our quantum shields now? Miller asked. Over 3,000, Thompson replied. And they're all improving on the design. Every world adds its own ideas, its own innovations. The galaxy is evolving faster than ever before. Earth had not become an empire itself, as some had feared. Instead, it had become a center of learning, a place where different civilizations could share knowledge freely. The quantum technology that had saved humanity was now helping to build a new galactic society. In the newly established Galactic Council, where Miller now served as Earth's first ambassador, former Empire worlds worked together as equals. The Empire's rigid hierarchy had been replaced by a network of cooperative relationships. The galaxy was never meant to be controlled by one power, Miller told the Council. It was meant to be explored by all of us, each in our own way. The final piece of the Empire's power fell when their own citizens revolted. After seeing how Earth had succeeded by embracing multiple paths of development, the Empire's populations demanded the same freedom to explore new possibilities. Dr. Thompson's virus had accomplished what centuries of resistance couldn't. It had shown the galaxy that the Empire's way wasn't the only way. It wasn't even the best way. As Miller prepared to end his address to the Council, a message arrived from Earth's long-range sensors. The last Empire fleet had been seen crossing the boundary into unknown space, fleeing from the freedom they couldn't control. Let them go, Miller told the Council. They've taught us all an important lesson. No matter how advanced you become, there's always more to learn. Always another path to explore. Earth had emerged from its victory not as a conqueror, but as a guide. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't defeating the Empire. It was showing the galaxy a better way forward. As the first generation of quantum ships prepared to explore beyond known space, Miller looked at the stars with new eyes. The Empire had tried to impose order on the galaxy. Earth had given it something better, the freedom to grow, to change, and to find its own way forward. The story of humanity's stand against the Empire would be told across the galaxy for generations to come. Not as a tale of warfare, but as a reminder that true strength comes from embracing all possibilities, all paths, all ways of thinking. The galaxy was free, and the future was brighter than ever before. The end.